What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and in today's video we're going to be running a little bit of a Madden experiment. This is not one of those frivolous experiments that you may see at some point where, like, hey, what if we put Saquon Barkley at linebacker and Roquan Smith at running back? Hey, that sounds like a great idea, but no, this is actually an experiment that could help some of you guys while you're deciding your team building, and that is really to do an extreme test over archetypes and scheme fits, because everyone knows you always want to try to work within your scheme fit. Base right now, Eagles, we got 86%. Base 4-3, 86%. So that's pretty good, even though what I have done here, it's not your normal Philadelphia Eagles. I've gone on and made the most bang-on average team of average players I think possible. 81 offense, 81 defense, 79 overall. So what we're going to do is 2 full simulations. Obviously, if you really want to crunch the numbers and get something that's super scientific, super accurate, you probably have to run at minimum like 10 different little simulations. We're going to do 2, and we're just going to see if there's any glaring differences. Like if one team finishes 12-4 and another team finishes 3-13, then you know that the scheme fits and archetypes make a lot of sense, and it's not just for player development. So what we're going to do here in this first run is I'm going to make every player on this team not a scheme fit whatsoever, and we're going to see through a season if they finish with a good record, with a bad record, who develops, how do they develop, and everything in between. So I guess we should say for the groundwork, all the sliders, all the XP sliders and all that stuff is set to default. Let's get into our first year simulation. All right, so we don't have any players that are scheme fits on offense or defense. I did change the playbook slightly, but it's not really going to matter because when we do the scheme fits, we're going to make sure it's the exact same package that we're going to be running offensively and defensively. Now, it does tell you here at the very bottom, players within 3 overall points of the preferred player type will increase the scheme fit percentage. Players with a perfect scheme fit match will earn extra XP in weekly training. So I assume that's 2 different things. So first of all, we will find out if there's any sort of hidden algorithm that rewards you for making that scheme fit. Plus, we're going to try to find out not only does your player develop, but the higher percentage of your scheme fit, how drastically does that change your team? Because I know, for me in particular, you would assume it does. You would assume your goal is to try to make the best scheme fit. But when you're drafting, sometimes there is, if you have an all-out offensive line that all needs power, but you can just simply draft, and every draft you do, it's all agile offensive linemen that are going to, superstar dev traits that have no chance in hell of fitting your scheme, but you really want to go best player available. We're going to try and figure out if, how, and when you should weigh scheme fit versus just general player development. So we're going to do the first simulation now and find out just how bad or average this team of average players does when none of them are scheme fits. Alright, so the end of the first little season here, you could see that no one did very good. I wanted to leave player development off so we could just see how many skill points each and every single player got. So we got 2 on the offensive line, we got 3 at wide receiver, 1 at quarterback. Defensively, we got 3 at defensive end, 4 on the defensive line, 2 at cornerback, 1 at linebacker. So that is horrific. We finished with a record of 5-10-1. Looking at Nick Foles' stats, bang on average, kind of what we're going for. 3,800 yards, 21 touchdowns. I mean, Spencer Ware going for 1,000 yards actually isn't that bad, considering in some of my rebuilds we struggle to go over 1,000 yards. 1,000. Nelson Aguilar played pretty damn well, to be honest with you. 72 catches, 1,200 yards, 12 TDs, but everyone else was bang on average. Offensive line, all of the starters gave up a decent amount of sacks. Defensively, I mean, the guys got their tackles, but that's because we were shit. Derek Barnett had a nice season, 13 tackles for loss, 13 sacks. Chris Long, not too bad at all, but everyone else was pretty average. And interceptions were bang on average. So, average team with no scheme fits, pretty much what you would expect. Average. Now what we're going to do is come back, get perfect scheme fits, the exact same players, see what the difference is. Well, that was painstakingly tedious, but we got it done. 100% scheme fit on offense, 100% scheme fit on defense. And I actually think we're 1 point over. I think we were 79 overall when we did it the other way. So we saw that we had, we can just do the comparison easy for you guys because you're watching the video. But 5-10-1, no one really developed. We had 2 was the most. Let's see what the difference is. Hopefully, it makes it worthwhile so this video is not just going in the trash. All right, so we missed the playoffs. This terribly average team, it's not like having a perfect scheme fit will make you make the playoffs. We have some negatives across the board. You could definitely say that we have slightly more XP earned, I guess you could say, on the offensive side of the ball. Slightly more XP earned on the defensive side of the ball. We finished with one win more, still has the tie. Looking at the individual stats, Nick Foles, pretty much the same stats. We get the 1,000-yard rusher, actually probably worst rusher. Nelson Aguilar didn't have as big of a season. Defensively speaking, a couple guys over 100 tackles. Derek Burnett, a little bit less sacks than we had before. And maybe a couple more interceptions. But ultimately, guys, I think that we could chalk up this experiment to the fact that schemes ultimately don't really mean much. You get a slight boost to how your player develops, and that's pretty much it. Does not have any factor really whether you win, whether you lose, improved stats, improved record. It's all about a slight boost to how your player develops, and that is, I guess, you know, they didn't say you were going to get any more wins. They just said you're the perfect scheme fit. You'll earn extra XP in weekly training. Does not say anything about your scheme fit base percentage being like a 96, increasing your opportunity at winning, increasing your opportunity at your players to excel in the system. That could be another thing we could have saw with the perfect scheme fit Nick Foles. Have, you know, 30-some touchdowns versus when he's not a scheme fit. You know, get the most out of their players. So I guess maybe that opens up the door of what should schemes mean? Should schemes actually make a team that's not that great base overall, but because they're all on the same page, they're all working as a cohesive unit, they're all, you know, almost like a Chip Kelly type thing. When Chip was running Philly, everyone had to buy in. He was getting the most out of players that may not have got the most elsewhere around the league. But because he was in Chip Kelly's scheme, Chip Kelly would be able to get the squeeze the most talent of that player and get them to play and perform at a career year. And we see that countless times around the National Football League. Basically, look at any time someone leaves the Patriots, they suck. Look at Patrick Chung. Patrick Chung was good at the Patriots, went to the Eagles, was terrible. Now he had like a late career resurgence once he returned back to the Patriots. So I think maybe something like that could be implemented in maybe Madden 20 to maybe add a boost and add some importance to building your team around the scheme. So I hope you guys did enjoy this little bit of an informative experiment here in Madden 19. If there's anything else you guys may want to see me test out, let me know. Or if you guys just want me to cheese it for views and see what happens when I put Saquon Barkley at running back and put Roquan Smith, when I put Saquon Barkley at linebacker and put Roquan Smith at running back, what kind of wacky experience we'll find out from there, let me know in the comment section below. Until next time though, it's E4 saying, if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.